Also, the nerd that wrote a book on the cave, so I get tours of it every day for the past 6 years. It's really fun. Not a lot of Nebraskans visit. This was all an abandoned, scary property for decades. Most of my visitors come from out of state. It's a part of Atlas Obscura, which is a New York Times bestseller that catalogs all the strangest places. Not in the country, but the world, and Robbers Cave's in it. So the tour on a Saturday is a pain in the butt. They book up 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. days in advance. You guys are lucky. You're here for a party. I first learned about this when I was just a little kid. Any of you guys been in here before? No?
Just a quick tour.
Sometimes half the hands go up and I go, how about legally? And they all go back. There used to be a house up top and belonged to the Scarborough family. And I say it was creepy because at one time they had pet coyotes tied up the trees as pets. And you'd bang on the sun porch, a little lady would come out and do the bolt crank on lights. Right by the tree was a white door. You'd start heading down some steps. That is what's left of the staircase. I'll flip flop them. Come over here. Check this out. There they are. You guys remember Steven Spielberg's movie, The Goonies? This reminds a lot of people of The Goonies. Come into a former restaurant, take you to the basement. We're gonna end up in a cave. Looks a lot like it. If you were the naughty type to sneak in and party back in the day, you were taking the strings and following these to whatever tone from you, just like this. Isn't that good? Now, this is all from the 1860s, so don't carve up the walls anymore. $203 vandalism ticket. Got it on the National Register a few years ago. Took the Atmospheric Sciences Department 31 hours. The laser scanned the cave. So all you're doing is staying with me as a group. Take all the pics you want. And watch yourself on the stairs. They're basically old rocks, all right? Nothing in here is flat, so you really gotta watch your step. Watch your step, watch your step, watch your step. Here's even a rail for you, okay? Come on in, I'll tell you all about it. Watch your step if I may say so. Like scraping off the top layer of the cave to show people that beneath Lincoln it looks like Florida, White Sands Beach. If I were to take off the top layer of the cave, it looked like sugar. Isn't that cool? Come on in. When we get to right here, we're gonna hang a left. We're heading deeper. Here in Lincoln anymore. You guys might notice that ribbon of iron ore, how it makes a wave like that. You're walking through an old beach from the Cretaceous period. Eastern Nebraska was a beautiful shoreline for the western interior seaway. You're walking through an old beach. Here's one that's 122 years old, December 13th, 1901. Not far from a USUP. Now the newer ones, when the building was built in 2015, people came down and carved it up. So we got some new ones. If anybody watches Stranger Things, notice like Becker right there. You see that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, just pick a wall to stand along. Some of you can stand over there, and some of you can stand over there. Before this was Robbers Cave, there was Penitentiary Cave, Lincoln Cave, Notorious Old Cave, Pawnee Council Cave, and the oldest name I ever found for it was Original Council Cave Tunnel. That was the natural cavern we walked into. Now we're in the man-made part. What's this cave doing here? Right outside of that hole, back in the 1860s, brewers from Waukesha, Wisconsin and Red Wing, Minnesota, came all the way up and built Lincoln's first brewery right here. All these tunnels would have been full of barrels of lager. And when the product was ready, it'd roll right up that ramp, out of the hole, onto the horses, and down to the Haymarket where all the saloons were. Make sense? Now to dig the cave, they hired this big German guy, Jacob Andra, who ironically looked exactly like him, same haircut and facial hair. And in 4 years, Uncle Jake they called him, hammered out 5,600 square feet of cave that we have today, all off the natural caverns. That was the well that they were using to get the water to brew the lager. That used to go down 62 feet. Were you guys around in 2015 when Salt Creek flooded? None of this had been built.
Yeah.
Muddy water came right through that hole and filled in the lowest point of the cave, 12 feet. So had you brought your swimsuits, we could go down there, float in some water and look up. Here's what you would see. It is a 62 feet deep well shaft. And amazingly, every inch of this is carved up too. Isn't that crazy? How does a 62 feet well shaft get all carved up like that? Any guesses? Time travel back to the 60s. You'd find someone from Minneapolis just mailed this to me. You would have found 14 little kids playing at the bottom, probably on a daily basis. I love showing this to people these days. They usually freak out. I have to remind
What
them.
year was that?
It's in the 60s.
Wow.
Back when 12-year-olds carried slingshots, chewed tobacco, and fixed cars. Doesn't that remind you of the Sandlot? People are like, how'd they get out? I'm like, problem solvers. I built a catapult. All right, what happened to the brewery when it closed? It became a brothel, something called the Anti-Horse Thief League. That was a thing. Rode all the way up from Kansas to burn it down, 1885. So you gotta think there's no building back there. You just have these abandoned caves. It's late 1800s Nebraska. The tunnels start to get used for horse thievery and gambling. That's primarily what gives it the Robber's Cave nickname. This is a dice game right there. 1908, looking like Peaky Blinders. Nowadays, I think of all this as really old school social media. People haven't changed one bit. Look at all the hearts and smileys everywhere. It's how people kept track of who they're dating at the time and who their favorite bands were. The first tunnel had Metallica and Anthrax. Look at that. Van Halen, the Dead Kennedys, Slayer, and Bob Dylan, all within a 3 feet radius. She's got ABBA right next to her head. Isn't it funny to think how each one's got a little story? Mary Loves Larry, 1967. At some point, she came back, slashed through the heart, and changed it to Tom. You call that a prehistoric status update. Well, Larry wasn't cutting it. You wanted to unfriend somebody, you just took them off the wall. Right? Same concept. Follow me over here, I'll show you the pig mark. Some of you can line up over here, some of you can line up over there. When you get back here, though, look at the ceiling. How'd you like that job for 4 years? The Scarboroughs got this about 1906. What'd they want to grow in here? Nice and dark and damp. No guesses?
Potatoes?
Mushrooms.
No
It's all gonna
mushrooms.
be a giant mushroom garden. Clearing everything out, they're putting in, to put in the mushroom beds, what'd they find? Pistols, counterfeit coin, gambling, pocketbooks, and tubing from old stills. That starts a lot of rumors. Everybody's coming to see the cave anyway, so they decide to open it up. 1908 all the way to the 70s. You could come in here and basically do whatever you wanted. Look at all the fraternity and sororities everywhere. Nebraska's football team came in the 60s every year, right after the spring game. That side tunnel I took you down, lined with kegs all the way back. This was a stage for bands to play. Got a whole list of all the bands that played here. The wood went out to that cut. This is where you drop extension for power. Goes all the way out the yard. You did not need speakers or amplifiers in here. That was for the lights for the stage. Makes sense? This guy that played for a Rolling Stones cover band was here. He hadn't been in here since 1971. He walked right up to that like it was yesterday. You know what he said to me? That's my drummer's chair, dude. That's where the drummer sat. Always wanted our football team to come in for tunnel walk picks. Last season, they finally listened to me. Every player showed up on time by position group. And in 2 4-hour photo shoots, we shot all the tunnel walk in Robber's Cave. And I said, you guys, nobody in Lincoln's going to know where you are. Get your butts in here. Finally worked. Oh, and if you follow the volleyball team, you will have seen a lot of Robber's Cave this year. That's right where you walked in. The whole theme was Red Kingdom, volleyball royalty. Saved them a trip to Joslin Castle. They were looking for a big stone wall. You know what was cool about having the football team here? Cleats. With their weight, they were mashing up the old impacted sand from way down deep and mauling up stuff that hadn't been touched in decades. Next day, giving summer day camp tours to the little Pioneers Park Adventure kids. And we're finding 38s and 22s and 357 and Full Metal Jacket, and even old shotgun wads. That make you wonder what's left in the sand.
Yeah.
Glad it's always been privately owned. Whenever my brother brings his sifter, we pull all sorts of stuff out of here. It's all on display up top. Oldest one I've ever found will be ankle high on the right, May 1875. Right here. May 1875. You can meet me in the next room. Weird little place, isn't it? What's in here? It gets a lot weirder, believe me.
Maybe I don't want to stand part of it.
Can anybody guess what this is? Big flat slab of cement poured in the 1920s. It starts back there, runs the whole room. Here's a clue for you. Air under here. What do you think? Bands are playing right there. Clue number 2. Don't overthink it. You guys are on the old dance floor. Think of Flappers getting out of the Charleston. Bands are playing right there. Folks told me their grandparents danced here all the way to 73. You want to see what it looked like had you come done your party about 110 years ago? You guys would be smashed in here body to body, holding candles. 1910 Palladian party. Kind of fun.
So I saw 2013, how many people able to carve stuff that recently?
Yeah. The building was built, well, people were breaking in, first of all,
Yeah,
but the building was built in 2015. So we got carvings all the way up till
yeah,
when it was just a construction site up top.
Okay.
You could come down here, people were carving it up, spray painting everywhere.
okay.
So got a lot of newer ones. Yep. All right, if this was the dance floor, what's that?
Bathroom.
Nailed it, good job. Yeah. In the 20s, it was the necking nook. By the 60s, it had become a bathroom. Yeah. Would you believe this used to be a daycare? People dropped their kids off with old lady Scarborough and a sack lunch, and she had them running through here all day. Yeah, here she is, Esther Bell Stevens. That's Minnie the female sitting on her lap. They had 3 coyotes, but everybody I talked to about this said heaven on earth. You could ride your bikes in here, crawl up on a picnic table, take out a light and play flashlight tag, kitchen, dodge, and hide and seek. I also had the pleasure of meeting her grandson. He was quite a character. His name was Ed Scarborough Jr. This all used to be his gun range. You've been looking at them all too, or once I say bullet holes, your mind's gonna notice them everywhere. It's like a magic trick. There's Ed Jr. He was kind of nuts. Drove a 1932 black Cadillac LaSalle hearse full of guns. You should hear the sheriff's stories about him. He's the one on the left. Right. Lived off Skippy peanut butter in old Milwaukee. 92 years old off peanut butter and beer. This lady said to me, I slid down a pole to get into Robbers Cave. No idea what she was talking about. I asked Ed in one of our interviews. He goes, up and to the left from the bathroom. Well, there's the bathroom. When you guys go that way, look left and just think if you didn't want to take steps, you used to be able to. Choom, right into these tunnels via his old flagpole. He said to me, boy, I cut that out a long time ago. Everybody landed on each other. No duh. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Right foot, right foot. I'll be waiting on the other side. Show them how it's done, boss.
Oh.
She goes, oh. If anybody has bad knees, hips, ankles, back, or you're scared, I'll take it. Is this where the pole was?
I'd say so.
Cool. I just got myself disoriented. I look up and we took over.
We would have taken the pole back then, huh? Here's what it looked like to come in here. This is the entrance to the cave in 1970. I remember this all the way up to 99. Nothing sketchy about that. You guys envision rolling up for your team today? I'm standing out in front of the door with a balloon or something. Hi, everybody. Here to play underground? Just kidding. All right, we're going to reconvene over here. Got something else to show you. Rails on your left. Keep an eye out on TV. There was a film crew from Knoxville, Tennessee that came up, was it January? They bought the option on the Robert Seabrook and they could do a film on HGTV, Discovery Channel, Netflix, History Channel. It's in post-production, so just might see me yapping about the cave soon. Thank you. Told the director, you don't have to make anything up. Family was out there. This place was used for everything, right? If you ever want to come back for the regular tour, they're about an hour long, okay? And they're every day. You just gotta book in advance, all right? So, I'll get you back up to your party. Don't want to keep you from your party too much longer. But let me know if you have any questions and follow me this way, all right? Have fun tonight. Don't forget your drinks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.